Congratulations, you're on to the next round. What's the difference between this round and your last round? Specificity and detail. Expect it to be longer. Maybe there's one interviewer, maybe there's several interviewers. Expect them to go through every position that you put on your resume and ask questions similar to these 5. All right, first question. What were you hired to do in that role? What were you hired to accomplish? They want to hear from you. I was hired to accomplish this. Now, this is your opportunity. Tell that story. Tell the story on why you're a good fit for the organization. I was hired to grow. I was hired to be a change agent, whatever you were hired to accomplish. That's question 1. Number 2, what did you accomplish in that role? Now they want to say, you were hired to do this. How did you do? Be specific on what you accomplished. I was hired to get us to this level of growth. I was hired to change the culture of the organization. Here's how I did in that particular role. Tell the story that shows that you're a good fit for the organization, and be ready to answer that question from the bottom entry in your resume all the way up to your last one. Next, you can predict what's coming next. Tell me what was the greatest challenge in that role. Tell me how you failed in that role. Tell me what you did not accomplish in that role. They're always going to ask you how you did what you did and did well. And then they're going to ask you again, what was the greatest challenge? What did you fail at? How do you want to tell that story? How do you want to show your level of resilience and professionalism? Now you have the opportunity to tell that story. Next, they might have asked you before to bring references with you or to provide them references. Be ready for them to ask you something like this. What is your boss from this role, when I talk to them, what's she going to tell me about your performance there? And you're going to hear, because now you just told them what you accomplished. You're going to tell them what your failures were or what you were challenged with and how you recovered from those. And now they're going to check up on you. They're going to check the validity of your story. So always assume that that's going to happen. They're going to call your references and ask them to essentially verify your story. Make sure you're ready for that. Last one. Why did you leave the position? What made you leave? How come you're moving on from that role? Oh, I hit the ceiling there. I accomplished everything I needed to. I couldn't grow as a family business. I couldn't move up anymore. I needed to move in order to broaden my experience. I needed to get to another role like this one right here. So I'm going to be able to grow. Or if you were fired or if you were let go, make sure you tell the reasons, because they're probably going to check on you to see, oh, we let them go because they competed for a position and someone else won that position and they were competitive, but they felt that they deserved it and they wanted to try and get that role someplace else. Be able to tell that story for every single position, every single line in your resume. All right. You have now prepared for the organization, big picture questions, and now you have a lot of specificity. You're ready for that, for any kind of interview that you can go into.